Hi everybody, as I said from the quest, some more updates. This one happened back at the end of March and in the beginning of April. I had to be a little bit, on the first couple here, I had to be a little bit short with the details due to security reasons. With our limited manpower and money, we had to be planned very carefully. I recently obtained a few more soldiers that had heard about the quest. One of them recently retired from Special Forces. Time to use him, I say. They were fully ready to accept my instructions, and I had no doubt that they will. I utilized them first in the north, and those three have worked with each other for a long time, so it is a good way to break them in. I sent them some help, and they made their first raid. It was a direct hit and run. We watched the targets for 24 hours with new and old data, and it was a really clean rescue. It was all same as usual: capture and remove to a safe house where they could be checked by a doctor, and then onto a location where they could be placed or returned home. Taken on this rescue, 24 girls. These were a little older. They were from 12 to 15 years old, and all were malnourished, but good go for recovery. We didn't have the funds for clothes, but we had some food, water, for now. But the new team members, they all pitched in, and we got them some clothes, and they even got some stuffed animals and sandals. This isn't a surprise to me anymore. When you start to become part of this, and it's one thing to hear about it, or to actually see it, but to actually be a part of it, really, it gets to you. I mean, it's like knowing right and wrong. I mean, while lawyers always, argue this and that and stuff like that, but when you're talking about humanity and doing the right thing, it's more than obvious when you're a part of this. So anyways, that was a great initiation for these guys. Then there was another one. Let's see. This one was more to the west. Quest soldiers, along with about 20 volunteers, hit and ran with 44 kids. 4 of them happened to be boys. They ranged from ages 8 to 14 years old. The police were protecting this place and had to be delayed and distracted. 2 of them came from a nearby house that seemed they didn't seem to be working yet, and they weren't in uniform. But this happens. We can do all that we can do. We can do all the preparations, but there's always something that's going to pop up, and so that's why we have to be prepared. That's what makes my team special, and they were prepared. We were loading the last of the kids when they saw us, and they came after us. 2 of the team members stayed behind, risking their lives to let us get away with the kids. They were successful in moving the police around the village in different directions till they had no idea where our trucks had went. Then our team separated and escaped. Once our trucks had a good distance away from the brothel, each soldier stayed as long as they could until too much attention was given to them, and they made their way to a location where we could extract them safely a day later. Many of the kids were really sick, and as of this writing, are healing and all expected to fully recover. There was no funds available, so we reached out to some of our churches and temples that we know would be able to provide what we needed for the next few days. Some of the nuns are taking care of the kids while we wait. Some of our soldiers are staying behind even though they know, even though we know they are safe. That's the thing. I don't quite understand why it's been so difficult to raise any funds, but we're going to continue to do what we do, no matter what. So so be it. And like I said, I'm not a car salesman. I'm not even good at this, so maybe I can recruit somebody that is. If anybody's out there that wants to help, just let me know. Anyway, there was the good one, the big one. This one was in the central continent. This was a new brothel to us, but we had been long established, and it was completely surrounded by other houses. It was in a shantytown section of the city. Its location was close to police that were in on the revenues, and also close to the bars and some 5-star hotels. It was a perfect sex tourist location. And even the taxi drivers were getting commission to bring people there, to bring customers there, especially the foreigners. For this one, we had 4 Quest soldiers and 13 volunteers. 2 priests from nearby towns were also there to help us with this. This one was a bit tricky. Some of the team managed to pay some street teens to help us. Actually, 3 of them went with one of the priests to begin a new life in a new way, which was pretty cool. Rescuing isn't just the kids, right? Or the kids of the brothel. It was interesting how the pureness of hearts opened the doors to souls that are locked with lost keys. With this raid, we had to have intelligence that we did not have before and had not been able to access. Intelligence that gave us locations of hiding places where the girls would go in case of a raid. It's amazing how well they can be hidden. I don't know if I've went over that before, but you know, some of these places, they have walls that are only 5 inches wide that open up that you can't really tell, and they hide in there, and there's hardly any air, and it's very hot. They have holes in the floor underneath their beds, leading to tunnels or just holes with no light, no air. There's also attics that are really hot, like it could be hell. And when we got the exact number of kids being held there, we had a problem. We did not have enough vehicles to transport them. So we were trying to figure out if there was any other way to get this done, or if we just had to call it off. And liberation of more vehicles at this late time in the rescue, it wouldn't be safe. Everybody really, really wanted to do this one, but it was falling in places where we weren't going to be able to pull it off. Lack of funds just really puts you in a bind, and then the surprise knowing that there was a lot more kids than what we had expected. We didn't have enough money to be of any use, so while the team was discussing options, we noticed that one of the priests had left. The concern was that he did not leave on his own and may have been taken. Before they could organize to search for him, they heard a noise outside their location, and going outside they saw a large covered truck with a priest in the passenger side with a big smile. Come to find out, he had been preaching in the street a few days back and had a few hungry men that had been asking him about God. He remembered one of them telling about a good man who would hire them when they were really hungry, and so that they could eat and bring some food home to their families. So he went out and found these guys that he had been talking to, and they took him to this man. He told them what was going on and that he needed some help, and so they took him to this guy. He was like a really good person, and actually gave his truck for personal use, and asked that no questions, didn't ask any questions except that when would he get his truck back, and hope to be soon. I tell you, my wish of all this is to show everybody out there these amazing people that just show up, you know. Like I probably said several times when I started this, I thought it was just going to be me, and now it's turned into a full-fledged legal organization with no funds, but you know, that'll come, I believe it. So anyway, we were on for the raid. A few hours later, in the middle of the night, the quest hit the brothel, and it was total chaos. Security was light and did not cause any trouble, but the girls were so scared, and there were so many of them. The team leader told me, was on the line and told me that it was like chasing chickens, running all through. And these brothels are like mazes, and there's a reason that they make them like mazes, you know, so that there's no way out, basically, and they can control situations. But with this situation, it wasn't quite expected, but the girls are running, and they have all these hiding places, and we knew this going in, and we knew that this could be a problem, but we had preparations in place, and so we pursued. Let's see. We had to seal the escape routes to the street till we had calmed them all down. That was pretty much the plan, because we knew that going in. And then we had to make sure that they were calm enough that we could get them to the vehicles without alarming the neighborhood, or at least too much. And to get them to the safe house, where there were several of them that needed medical attention. Our doctor was not near us, and again, we had to improvise. In a nearby city, we had some friends that knew nurses, and also one of the nuns that occasionally works with us is a nurse, and she came in. We did what we could, and at the safe house, and it's a really very safe house, so we were able to keep them there for a little longer. And luckily, some of the older ones that we had been in contact with were able to stick around and help us with the other kids. They kind of knew what was going on from our exploratory ventures into the brothel to map it and such. Then another surprise, one of our team members returned the truck and thanked him, you know, so much. The man asked how they were and what would happen to them. Without giving any of the details or security details that could compromise the quest or the people involved, the team member told him all they could. The man who gave us the truck, without question, just started crying. And at that time, two of his daughters comes out. And they asked why he was crying. And so he just looked at them and sent them back in, said everything's all right. Then our team member began to leave when the man grabbed his arm. He got on the phone, the guy, our friend, and asked our soldier to wait a little while. So he got him some coffee, and he sat there. Not much was said for a half hour when a pickup pulled up with two younger ladies in it. My teammate was not sure what to think, and so he just stood on guard. The man took the teammate to the truck and showed him in the back was some basic medical supplies and a bunch of clothes for the girls. He handed the keys to our teammate and told him a place just outside of town where he could leave the truck after he delivers the supplies. He did not need to know anything else. I wish someday you, the people that read this on Facebook or see this video, could know the feeling of what we do and who enters our path on this life. It's just so hard to explain. I've been through many things, imprisoned and beaten, tortured. I've witnessed death, on and on. And I've seen some of the miracles throughout the world, but since I've been doing this, there's just nothing that compares to it. Maybe it's just me. But finding these people, just knowing, that's why I want everybody to know about these people one day, because it'll change all of us just to hear their stories. That's why I read these. But anyway, let's go to the numbers. Sorry. Before this series of events, the year's total for this year, just this year alone, was 112. Last year it was 224. So in less than 2 years, the total had been 336. And now with the addition of these, 131 more. So this year's total now, 243, with a grand total, the quest has saved 467 kids. 467. And there's more coming. So watch for the next one. Thank you, and please share, throw some change at us, anything to help what we're doing, please. So bless you, and thanks.
Okay, my name is...
Hi, what is your name?
my name is Jane.
Jane?
I'm Vietnamese. Hello.
And what is your connection to this pagoda?
I am the monk's niece, so I'm come to the temple, the pagoda every single week, usually.
Why?
Because I come here with my family, and I feel peaceful when I come here. When people come here, they always do the best thing they want to do, and everybody is very kind to each other, so it's the ways to relax. It's the best way.
What is the purpose of this temple?
The purpose of this temple is make everybody to feel relaxed and to feel peaceful when they come here, and people can connect to each other and do the charity to another people.
And do you help the poor?
The poor, yes, of course. I love to do this, and I thought that everyone wants to do this.
What caused you to want to keep coming here and helping?
Excuse me, can you ask me again?
What caused you, or what event made you want to come here and help?
Events?
What caused it?
Mid-autumn and Lunar New Year.
But why do you want to help?
Why I want to help?
Yeah.
Because when you see people who's poorer than you, you feel very poor to them, and when we help them, we can do the good things, right? Yeah, and we feel a little peaceful, and we'll be a kind people when people and people will admire you if you do this, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a big heart, and I really appreciate you talking to me.
Thank you.